Let's talk about from the LA Times, Hollywood's exodus, why film and TV workers are leaving Los Angeles. Alan, if you would read the excerpts at the top of the story.
Oh, the excerpts from the...
No, the top, just
Okay.
start reading.
All right. Los Angeles has been a magnet for those chasing their big break in film and TV, drawn by the allure of creative fulfillment and fame. But conversations about the growing exodus are getting louder as escalating housing costs and dwindling career opportunities push many to pursue their dreams elsewhere. The city's entertainment industry workforce has been rocked by a series of unprecedented shocks, from a global pandemic to last summer's double labor strike by writers and actors. And as streaming has boomed as the streaming boom has faded, entertainment companies have hemorrhaged jobs, and network studios and streamers have pared back their programming slates. With the industry in the grips of a slowdown and the cost of living in LA still high, the motto for those struggling to remain in the city has become survive till 25 in hopes of a rebound next year.
Pause for a sec. What indication is there that things will get better?
Well, the only indication to me really is the fact that the strike ended and they're back in production. That's the only thing. And that hopefully this is just the groundswell and that there will be a boom after it. But let's just be real. The studios are not being aggressive about producing content this year. And will they be next year? That's the question.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Keep reading, if you would, the next paragraph.
Okay. But many have simply been unable or unwilling to continue to tough it out in a city where rents have risen and home prices linger at an all-time high, up 6% over last year alone, with the potential strike of 60,000 people in the crew member union keeping the industry on edge, not to mention the existing threat of artificial intelligence.
Existential
threat of artificial intelligence to creative jobs. The uncertainty has driven the growing number of film and TV to seek stability elsewhere. That statement, there's so much packed into that statement as to what the problem is. I could tell you government regulation is a big part of that, of the rising cost of building homes, maintaining homes, and having apartments. This city is going in the wrong direction. It's not going to turn around.
I am not optimistic
mm-hmm.
because of AI, because profits are down, because fewer people are going to the movies, because of the economy in general. People are cutting costs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very disconcerting all around. I don't see it getting better. Let's look at one more paragraph and we'll wrap it up with comments.
Let's see. Some have left for work in places like Atlanta and New Mexico, which have lured production out of Los Angeles with generous tax incentives. Others have given up on the entertainment business alone and are trying to forge new careers, whether they have moved out of choices or desperation. Uprooted Hollywood workers have inevitably coped with unexpected change, both financially and emotionally. Yeah. This is where I would insert the independent film. The studio system, the economic model of Hollywood is broken. It's severely damaged.
Yes.
And unless you are the top of the top, the best of the best, you are not going to find work in Hollywood. And so if you are a creative and you are striving for excellence in your work, you're going to have to find a different way of finding work here in the entertainment industry, which means you don't have to come to LA. But you're going to have to figure out something that's out of the norm and out of the box if you want to get into this business.
It says here are 3 of their stories. These are people. Could you just scroll down and briefly just give us the names and briefly tell us about them real quick?
Okay.
The comments are amazing. I see you. We'll get to you quickly. Just a moment.
I see you.
So
Yes.
let's go to this real quick.
Okay. So this
I see
is
you.
Robbie Panada. I probably said that wrong, but he did everything from cinematography, editing, to directing, visual effects, and scoring. He calls himself a jack of all trades. It goes through his credits here, but
He's an indie filmmaker too. He doesn't need to be here to make an indie film.
yeah, but opportunities grew more scarce, and his annual income dropped from around $150,000 at its peak to closer $80,000 to today, which is telling you, I mean, $80,000 is not enough to live in LA. $150,000 is barely enough to live in LA. And he talks a bit about how he would get work, but what he's being paid is dwindling as well. The price he's able to charge is going down, which makes it even more difficult. And he talks about moving out. He moved to in Mississippi. He made $2,500 a day shooting commercials. When he got to LA, he was lucky to get $500 or $800 doing the same work. Jennifer Brody, 44. She's been in the business for a long time, since 2001. Worked on Harry Potter, Fast and Furious, Ocean's 11. Let's see. She hit the ground running. She was able to get work. She did very well working for the Weinstein Company. I'm pretty sure it's post Harvey. But let me see. Let's see. Growing up in pop culture, obsessive in Roanoke. All the writers we read were old white dudes. It didn't just see myself represented, so it goes there. Let's see, she's already credited, so she's basically finding little bits of work here and there, but then she's gone on to start her own science fiction novel series.
The theme with these people is they're all doing things that they created.
Yeah.
The guy you just talked about makes indie films.
Yeah. And then Talia Brahms here, she also moved to LA, and then found she made just as much money as a beekeeper than she did working in Hollywood. It's, I don't know, as I was reading this there was just this sense that the privilege it is to work in Hollywood, and how that privilege is not being it's almost as if nowadays people go to Hollywood and demand that someone hire them. This is where we got into this whole DEI thing, and I think this is why we're seeing such inflated costs, especially with the Acolyte. You have a woman that hits in Leslie Headland, a woman who hits a certain demographic, which was being a lesbian, and so they just poured out the money, gave her everything she wanted, and she hadn't earned her spot as a legit Hollywood writer, and this is the show we get. And there's this demand that people have that because I'm not an old white guy, you need to hire me. And in fact, for reparations, you need to pay me a lot of money. And they're showing that they can't handle it. And I think studios are getting wise. And that I think Leslie Headland is the last of, well, I wouldn't say that. Disney's just going to keep hiring these people. But I think the other studios are they're being forced to hire people who actually have experience, actually have talent, and actually have pursue excellence. And for everyone else who thought they could just coast on their identity, it's time for you either to put up or shut up.
Well, I'll say this for people who work in the industry, it's seasonal work.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who work in entertainment, they're all freelance,
right?
And maybe work 6 months of the year. Now you get paid well during that 6 months, but after the job is done, there's a fear that I might not work for another 3-6 months or a year. So a lot of my friends live very cheaply, learn to be frugal. So that's the message, or have their own side project.
Yeah. Or learn to save between projects. And those are your actors and writers, producers. They don't see movies. They don't see money until that movie is sold. And so they're working for free for a very long time with the hope that the movie they're making is gonna get picked up by somebody.